Happy learning! Today we're going to talk about coloring bounds. Okay, so in our previous video, we talked about the four-color theorem, which said if we have a graph that's planar, meaning we could draw the graph with none of the edges crossing, then we could color the graph in four or fewer colors. But what we're going to look at today is what if our graph is not planar? Okay, so we're going to be trying to find something known as the chromatic number of the graph. So let's start by defining that. The chromatic number which is denoted by, that's the Greek letter chi, but you could just write x. So chi of g, so the chromatic number of a graph is the smallest value of k for which G has a proper K coloring. All right, so it's the smallest value such that we can color the graph with K colors and no two adjacent vertices have the same color. Okay, so for example, if G is the 5 cycle, all right, if G is the 5 cycle, it's obvious that the chromatic number is going to be bigger than 1, right? We definitely need more than one color to color this graph, but maybe we could do it in 2 colors. All right, so let's label this 1. This is a neighbor of 1, so it can't get the same color as 1, so it's going to be 2. And same thing with this, right? This vertex here, is a neighbor with 1, so it can't be labeled 1. So we're going to label it 2. And again, we're going to try to color this in 2 colors. But what happens now? This vertex is neighbors with 2. So we can't label it 2, but we can label it 1. And now we're left with this last vertex here. It's neighbors with both a 1 and a 2. So we can't color it with a 1 or a 2. We have to introduce a third color, 3. And that's the best we could do. So in this case, our chromatic number is 3. Okay, in general, it's hard to find the chromatic number of a graph. Okay, it's just difficult. But so there are some techniques. So in order to determine the chromatic number, we often do 2 things. The first thing we're going to do is actually find a coloring with a certain number of colors. And then 2, which is the hard part, argue why it's impossible to use fewer than K colors. Okay, and so what we're actually going to do today is we're not going to find a way to determine exactly what the chromatic number is. We're going to worry about finding bounds for the chromatic number. Another way to say that is we know it's going to be at least this big, and it's not going to be any bigger than this. It's between these two numbers. Okay, and usually that's good enough for most applications. And so to find a lower bound for the chromatic number, we need something known as the clique size. So a clique, okay, this is a clique like a group of friends, not like an Adam Sandler movie. In a graph. So a clique in a graph is a subgraph, so it's just some subset of the graph. That is itself a complete graph. Okay, what is this saying? It's saying it's some collection of vertices in our graph where that collection has all possible edges between it. They're all neighbors with each other. Okay, so think of it like a friend group. In your school, there's some friend groups, and in those friend groups, they're all friends with each other. The edge would represent friendship. The clique size of the graph, which we denote by omega of g, it's the largest value of n for which G contains Kn as a subgraph. Meaning it's the biggest possible clique in the graph. That is our clique size. Okay, and knowing the clique size gives us a bound for our chromatic number. So if we could determine the value of our clique size, we get a lower bound for our chromatic number. So knowing the value of omega of g gives a lower bound for the chromatic number. Okay, how do we say this, or how would we write this as an inequality? It's omega of g is less than or equal to chi of g, the chromatic number. All right, and so why is that? Well, if we had a complete graph, all right, so suppose our graph is this. All right, so suppose that this is our graph. Our clique size is 4. These 4 vertices on the left form a clique. They're all neighbors with each other. And so if we were to try to color this graph with fewer than 4 colors, we would run into some issues. Right? So let's say that's 1. And this vertex is neighbors with 1, so it can't be 1, so let's call it 2. This vertex is neighbors with both 1 and 2, so it can't get the label of 1 or 2. So let's call it 3. And the final vertex in our click is neighbors with 1, 2, and 3, so it can't get a color of 1, 2, or 3. We have to introduce a fourth color. So when we just look at the click, we have to use at least as many colors as there are in the click. And in this case, we could just reuse one of the old colors to get this last one. So the chromatic number here actually is 4. All right, so the click size gives a lower bound for the chromatic number. And we could get an upper bound for the chromatic number by using a theorem known as Brook's theorem. All right, shout out to Brook for this theorem. What does Brook's theorem say? It gives us an upper bound for the chromatic number. It says let G be a connected graph and let, okay, triangle here, this triangle boy, that's delta. All right, that's the Greek letter delta. So let delta denote the maximum degree among all vertices. Okay, so we would find the degree of each vertex, and delta would be the biggest degree. All right, what does Brook's theorem state? It says then the chromatic number of our graph is less than or equal to delta as long as G is not a complete graph or an odd cycle. Okay, so in these two very special cases, Brook's theorem does not apply. If we have the complete graph or the odd cycle, we can't use Brook's theorem, except it finishes it off. So it says if G is a complete graph or an odd cycle, then the chromatic number is delta plus 1. Okay, so as long as if our graph is complete or an odd cycle, then we know its chromatic number. That's what the theorem gives us. And in 99.99% of the cases when we don't have a complete graph or an odd cycle, we have an upper bound for our chromatic number. All right, so putting these together, we have omega of G is less than or equal to our chromatic number, which is less than or equal to delta. All right, these are some bounds for the chromatic number. So let's take a look at an example. All right, so we want to find bounds for the chromatic number of our graph. And our graph is the following. All right, so we have 8 vertices, and here are the edges. Okay. So this is not a complete graph. This is not an odd cycle. So we have this bound for the chromatic number. So we could use this. So to get bounds for a chromatic number, we need the clique size and we need delta. Okay, let's start with the clique size. We need to find the largest group of vertices that are all neighbors with each other. All right, and I'll give some names to these vertices. And so if you look, H, B, D, F, that forms a clique. They're all neighbors with each other, right? F is neighbors with H, B, and D. Has other neighbors. But D is neighbors with F, H, and B. You can check all of them. They're all neighbors with each other. So the set, let's just go alphabetical order. B, D, F, and H forms a clique. Okay, and we could look for a bigger clique, but this is actually the biggest clique in the graph. All right, so our clique size is 4. Okay? Now we could go through and look at the degrees of each vertex. Degree 3, right? There's 3 edges out of it. Degree 5, degree 3, degree 5, degree 3, degree 5, degree 3, degree 5. 5 is the biggest degree amongst all the vertices. So delta is 5. All right? And so this tells us that our chromatic number is either 4 or 5. Okay? This theorem, Brook's theorem, tells us our chromatic number is either 4 or 5. And so let's now try to color our graph with 4 colors. If we could do it in 4 colors, we know our chromatic number is 4 because it's impossible to do better than 4 because of our inequalities here. All right, so I'm going to erase these labels and let's see if we could color this graph in 4 colors. I'm going to start with the clique because I know they all have to have different colors. All right, this vertex is neighbors with 1 and 2, so I'm going to label it 3. This vertex is neighbors with 2 and 3, so I'll label it 1. This vertex is neighbors with 4, 3, and 3. So we could label it 1 or 2. I'll do 1 again. And this vertex is neighbors with 1, 1, and 4. So we could label it 2. All right, so since we were able to color this graph using 4 colors, and we know the smallest our chromatic number could possibly be is 4, we have concluded that the chromatic number is indeed equal to 4. Okay? If we had a more complicated graph, maybe we would struggle graphing it with 4, or coloring it with 4. Maybe it would take 5. But in this case, we were able to do it in 4. Okay, well, that's all I have for today. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts or concerns, and I will see you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye-bye.